Hello, good morning, students. Welcome in today's class through online teaching. In today's class, we are going to study the poem Ode to a Skylark, and this poem was written by P.B. Shelley, who was a famous romantic poet of 19th century. P.B. Shelley wrote this poem in 1820. We have already discussed several stanzas of the poem in previous class, and in today's class we will study remaining part of the poem To a Skylark. So let's start. Teach us, sprite or word, what sweet thoughts are thine. I have never heard praise of love or wine that panted forth a flood of rapture so divine. Chorus hymeneal or triumphal chant, matched with thine would be all but an empty want, a thing wherein we feel there is some hidden want. Teach us here means the poet thinks he can learn music from the skylark, sprite or word. Here the poet is confused. He has the doubt whether the skylark is a word or a spirit. The doubt has not been removed. Hence, the poet calls it by both the names. He addresses skylark as bird and spirit. Teach us thine means the poet wants that the people of the world may learn the sweet thoughts of the bird, which provide inspiration to her song. Sweet thoughts means pleasant and happy thoughts of the bird, which find expression in her rapturous music. That panted forth, it means expressed. Flood of rapture means outburst of happy thoughts or expression of happy thoughts. A flood divine means flood of divine music. Chorus hymeneal means wedding song or marriage song. Triumphal chant means victory song. Chant means song, chant here means song. Matched means compared. What an empty want. It means the song in praise of marriage or victory appears to be mere idle boast. A thing hidden want, it means we realize that there is something lacking in these songs. There is something lacking in victorious song and marriage song, which lacks their beauty. The song of the skylark in comparison to these birdly songs is perfect. Hidden want means undefinable defect. Undefinable defect. In these lines, the poet wants to say that the music or the song of the skylark is cheerful. The poet is charmed by the joyous song of the world. The song is more pleasing than the shower of spring and the beauty of flowers. The poet does not know whether it is a physical world or just a spirit. He is confused, he has doubt, but he is fascinated by the sweetness of her song. From these lines onward follows the philosophical part of the poem. In these stanzas, the poet reproduces the thoughts roused in him by the bird's joyous song. The poet says that he wishes the skylark, be it spirit or word, should tell him what sweet thoughts constitute the subject of its song. The poet wants to know what is the source of skylark's music. He says that he has never heard either love song or victory song filled with ecstasy and uttered with such strong passion. The poet says that the skylark songs are so passionate and ecstatic that no love song or victory song can rival them. The poet says that compared to the skylark song, marriage odes or song of victory are worthless. We feel that they are like things having some secret defect in them. What it exactly is, we cannot say. That is no marriage ode, no song of victory can be so sweet, so passionate as the skylark song. What objects are the fountains of thy happy strains? What fields or waves or mountains? What shapes of sky or plain? What love of thine own kind? What ignorance of pain? Object here means things. Fountain here means source of inspiration. The source of inspiration of sweet music of skylark. For the word song, thy here refers for skylark. Thy means you, your. Happy strain means joyful and pleasant music of skylark. Strain is used for music or song. The poet wants to know the source which inspired the song of the skylark. In this stanza, the poet says that the song of the skylark is superior to all the creations of the bird. It is superior to marriage songs. It is sweeter than the songs of love and wine. They are more impressive than the lyrics of poets. The poet wants to know the sources which provide pleasure to skylark. He is anxious to learn about the objects which inspire the bird to sing so sweetly. He asks the bird whether they are the field or the mountains or the waves of the sea, whether they have shapes and faces like the people of heaven and earth. The poet wants to know if the objects that inspire the love, the objects of the world, and have knowledge about their sufferings. The poet P.B. Shelley believes that men suffer because of want of love between man and man. Here we find philosophical ideas of P.B. Shelley. He believes that men suffer because of want of love between man and man. Skylark loves its race, so all the birds of this race must be ignorant about pain and suffering. As compared with the skylark song, the marriage songs or songs of victory all appear hollow and meaningless and as lacking in something essential though indefinable. The poet makes a surmise regarding the source of the joyous song of the skylark. He asks if it is some beautiful fields, smiling babes, or fascinating hills, or it is some fascinating aspects of the sky or of the earth. Or again, if it is the deep love which the bird feels for its own species, or it is complete ignorance of all pain and misery which inspires the bird's music. With thy clear keen joins, languor cannot be, shadow of annoyance never came near thee, thou lovest but never knew love's sad satiety. Thy means your, skylarks. Clean, keen joins, it means pure, intense feelings of joy. Joins means joy, enjoy. Languor means weariness or tiredness. Shadow of annoyance means the smallest trace of pain. Never came thee, it means the world has never experienced any annoyance, tiredness, and dissatisfaction in her love. In this stanza, the poet P.B. Shelley wants to say that the skylark does not experience disgust with human beings, invariable experience after an excessive enjoyment of the pleasure of love. The skylark does enjoy the pleasure of love, but in its case, the feeling of disgust does not occur. The enjoyment of the skylark is complete. It never flags. Its joy is pure and unmixed. The poet says that the delights which the skylark enjoys are ever fresh and strong. They can never grow dull through even the smallest trace of pain. Dullness cannot be associated with the freshness and keenness of the skylark's enjoyment. The skylark indulges in love, but never to such an excess as to grow weary of its object. Waking or asleep, thou of death must deem. Deem means think. Things more true and deep than the mortal's dream. Or how could thy notes flow in such a crystal stream? Crystal stream here means an unbroken form and unbroken form. The poet feels that skylark is happy and sings a joyous song. The word is so joyful because she has not experienced pains and sufferings in her life. On the other hand, the happiness of a man is infected with sorrow. Happiness is the lot of skylark only. The poet feels that a poem is sublime when it portrays the pathos of man's life. Man's happiness is always followed with sorrow. He fears the future and regrets the past. He can never be happy in life. When he looks to the past, its sweet memory makes him sad. When he looks to the future, he finds it gloomy. He cannot enjoy present because wants, unrealized dreams and vague longings stands in his way. He is never satisfied with his lots he find it. Sadness underlies all joy. Poetry is sublime only when it expresses the pathos of man's life. Even in our sincerest laughter, there is always an undercurrent of sorrow. We always has sorrow in our sincerest laughter. We feel extremely sorry for those things we could not achieve in our life and which we might not be able to achieve in the future. The result is that we cannot be perfectly happy. It was a characteristic of Shelley that he was dominated by the ideal of perfection, and to his mind, realities did not appeal so much as vague ideas. The most tragic songs give us the greatest delight. Tragedy, which deals with sorrow, appears to be sweeter than comedy, which deals with the lighter side of life. The fresh and intense enjoyment of the skylark knows no dullness. It does not decline. Not to speak of real pain, even its shadow has not approached the bird. It has not experienced even the slightest feeling of pain or sorrow. The bird is a great lover, but its love knows no surfeit or opposed to the love of man, which fill him with disgust after he has enjoyed it. The poet says that much of the grief and sadness in human life is due to man's vague and imperfect ideals about death and the world beyond. As opposed to man, the bird seems to be possessed of some divine instinct which gives it a clear and true idea of death. This is evident from its music, which flows in perfect harmony and has in it pure and unmixed joy, which could not have been there if the bird were as ignorant of the true nature of death as man.